Women governors have arrived in Homabay County for the launching ceremony of the Group of 7 G7 strategy, a collaboration between the 7 women governors in Homabay County. This comes ahead of the second Homabay International Investment Conference, HOBIC, scheduled to begin tomorrow under the theme Unlocking the Bay of Endless Potential. The three-day event aims to draw both international and local investors to tap into the county's investment potential. President William Ruto is expected tomorrow to be in attendance to inspect the progress of projects and officially open the County International Investment Conference. Kate and Diego with more details.
The Homabay International Investment Conference is off to a strong start with its pre-conference event in Homabay town, showcasing the country's readiness for international investors. In the pre-event today, the 7 women governors led by Homabay Governor Gladys Wanga met up with local youth and women to launch the Group of 7 G7 strategy with an aim of increasing the number of women in leadership positions and also in preparation for the HOBIC event beginning tomorrow. The G7 event is aimed at empowering women in political positions, mentor young women leaders, addressing hurdles hindering women participation in devolution, and championing good governance among women leaders under their theme to harness transformative leadership. During the event, former legislator Priscilla Nyokabi presented the strategy for the G7 and methods that, if employed, will increase the number of women governors from 7 to 16 in the 2027 elections.
This G7 is the Women Governors Caucus. Katika COG ya kwanza mmesikia tulikuwa na G0. COG ya pili tukakuwa na G3. G3 ilikuwa Governor Anne Waigoro, Governor Charity Ngilu and the late Governor Laboso. Sasa wakati huu tuko na 7 women governors. Kule COG inakuanga council ya government na ndio kwa maana zinaitwa G48. Zile G47 counties pamoja na national government wanakuwa G48. Sasa ile COG itakuwa ndio nyumba ama ndio mahali ambapo G7 wetu pia wanaketi. So ndio kwa maana tunaita G7. 7 governments, the Women Governors Caucus. Na hii 7 governments is so that our women governors kutoka hii G7 tuende G16. G7 to G16. Na katika hii G7 pia tufanye devolution. Vision ya G7 is women-led counties delivering the promise of devolution. Women-led counties delivering the promise of devolution. Devolution ilikuja Kenya 2010. Na kwa vile Wakenya wengi wanapenda devolution, tunataka women governors wetu hawa under G7. Devolution kwa county zao ndio itakuwa the best.
Helen Mushulu, a representative from the UN Women Kenya County Office, touched on the progress of women leaders as well as their representation, which according to her is still below the 2/3 gender representation in Kenya and the United Nations.
So I'm sure we also, from the Kenya's 2022 election, the performance of the women leaders across the board. At the national level, we saw an increment in the number of women who are elected as MPs, but the most significant change was at the gubernatorial level, where we saw the women governors increase from 3 to 7. Let's clap for our women governors. However, despite this progress, I know as Kenya, this is a significant progress, but this is still, women's representation across all seats is still below the 2/3 gender representation or 33%, because women now hold 10.6% of the elected seats, which is below the 33% that is guided by our constitution. This representation is also below the UN Sustainable Development Goal (SDG) of 50%. So we're not just talking about 33%, we are aiming at 50% in the future.
The chair of the Council of Governors and Governor of Kirinyaga, Anne Waiguru, presented the previous current strategies to increase the number of women leaders and also touched on the role of devolution, praising the host Governor Wanga for a job well done.
to G16. And we realized that if we just keep talking about increasing the number of women governors, we will not get there unless we come up with a clear and concise strategy. And the strategy number one was to support women governors who are already elected. That is where you begin. Because if they perform well, if the existing women governors deliver the promise of devolution, then it will be easy to convince electorate to elect other women as governors. And that is why we have a G7 strategy. Ideally, in my view, the strategy should read G7 to G14 so that people can see the vision of where we are going. Sindio, can you hear me at the back? So that people can know where we are going from G7 to G16 to G16. Devolution has played a very significant role in opening up leadership decision making. And we have understood that, yes, governors are elected, but what we have seen in the last 1 year, I will tell you yesterday, I came early yesterday to see what Governor Wanga has been doing. And I will tell you as a second-term governor, I am so impressed. I am so impressed, Governor. And I'm not saying this because she is a woman governor. This is what we are saying. We elect women governors because they are capable.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, my name is Kate Andiego.